So it's kind of connects with the other packages also, and it plays very well with the scikit-learn, which is the other machine learning package. So you can use it, all these data frames in the scikit-learn machine learning stuff also. So let's start with the. This is just a introduction. I have just added some CSS style to make the fancy data frames, but it's not necessary. And so I'm just basically ignoring the warnings in the previous line. Here I'm trying to find out the package or version of the Pandas, and I have also imported the matplotlib in case I want to have some charts. I also have, if you see, %matplotlib inline, which allows you to have the charts inside the Jupyter notebook instead of popping out of the notebook, which is sometimes very annoying. So these are the initial preparation. But basically, I will be using the open policing Stanford data, which is basically how many times that the people have been stopped and been fritzed, and is there any violation, and when it was used in one of the Pythons. So there are two parts to the whole talk that I'm gonna have. One is the tutorials of covering key facets of key aspects of what are the various methods we have, and then we'll try to answer some of the questions based on that. So let's start with that. So I have this police.csv file. So it's loaded. Before I look into the data, I want to look what kind of I have loaded into the DF variable. I want to see the type of the DF. So it's a data frame. So that's type can be used to find out the type of the various data objects like data frame, series, and various other things. Now, as Jack mentioned, head can be used to look at the first 5 rows, and here we go. So we have like the stop time, stop date, stop time. This data is only restricted to the Rhode Island data. So we have the driver genders and driver age. Some of the variables were different for a different state, so they have been standardized. So there's a violation row, violation, search conducted, and so forth. And we'll go through some of the variables as the cases come across. Now, the first thing I want to see is that, hey, what's the size of the data set? How many rows are there? How many columns are there? So whenever the data frame is created, we have a shape attribute that gets associated with this. So if you run it, you get the tuple, which shows the first element of it tells the number of rows. The second element tells you the number of columns in that. You can pull out 1 or 2 based on that. Alternatively, you can use the len function, which is like typical vanilla Python function. So it will tell you the number of rows. Now, if you want to look at the type of the columns, then you can use the dtypes attribute, which is and as you can see, I'm using the dot notation here. I'm chaining the various attributes through the data frame variable. So that's very convenient. So we have all these variables. Some of them are float, some of them are objects. Objects are mostly strings.
Do you know why your year is coming in as a float?
Here.
I'm pretty sure it's the default. Like unless you specify,
yes,
it wants everything as a float.
You have to pass it through pd.datetime function, and if it's in the right format, then it will convert it into a year, or it can convert, if it's a timestamp, then it can do other things also. So I have one case, like an example here, so we'll go through that.
So the search part was that another number.
Yes.
That was the only one that said that. The other ones are objects, but it didn't say.
I was kind of curious.
I've actually
Yeah,
no
why?
experience with this specifically. So when you import it, or when you create a data frame, if the data is null completely for a column, it will allow that to be a string. But if it were, it'll just actually call it an object. It'll be like object. But if you have things that look like integers, but then you have null values, it goes, well, NumPy doesn't support null integers, so that's a
Yes. Yeah, but they should be soon. Yeah, should be soon. If not,
Integer is an object.
Right.
But it hinges on NumPy's array.
right. Yeah, it's because NumPy doesn't support it, but yeah, suppose it will.
That's why you get the NAN.
Yeah, that's what you did.
And just FYI, this is from learning the hard way. I learned Pandas first before I really got serious about NumPy. If you learn NumPy first, Pandas is a breeze to understand. So don't be like me. Okay. Quick question. One more. What do you use info? Do you use dataframe.info?
I didn't use that, but yeah, it's another. Do that. Yeah. Sorry for. So that's another way. So that's another very good method which tells you the non-null objects. And for example, Stockdale has all the non-null objects 914, 741, and there are many of these.
I'm gonna describe.
Yeah, describe is another function for that. So there's so many. One of the things with the pandas is that you have multiple ways to do the same stuff.
Do dir on df. just so you're aware of how many methods there are.
Yeah.
This is good. I'm curious. I've never counted.
Yeah.
So it will tell you all the. Sorry, it became.
It's too many.
So it shows all the possible variables that's associated with the data frame.
That's true for anything Python. dir and then we'll take all that.
Right.
Free.
Yeah. So D types, info, describe, all covering almost similar kind of stuff. So yeah, but these are really good options to explore the data set. So whenever you have a data set, you want to explore all these things initially before rather than doing it later. So it's really a good practice.